What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've got a video today. It's a little bit of a niche, obscure repair, so I'm going to get right into it so that you don't risk watching the video and then at the end realize it's not related to your problem. What we have here is a Kohler. This will be the same on any Kohler large displacement 17 to 21 single cylinder. This one in particular is on a Husqvarna, and the problem is it runs terrible. Ouch. Runs terrible, and this is the second time I've run into this. What you want to do is pop your hood, come over here to the choke throttle area, and right up here is your choke arm. You can see that it attaches down here to the choke, and notice that mine has no spring return and no resistance. As I move that, that's my problem. So I just wanted to say that right off the bat. If yours has no resistance and runs terrible, this is what you're dealing with. So what I've run into twice now with two different carburetors is there's a little spring down in there, and I'll show you that here on a carburetor off the motor. Here's the spring I'm talking about. It's wrapped around the choke shaft right there, and its only job is to return the choke to off, to its open position. So you push the lever up to choke, that pushes this linkage forward and chokes it, and then when you come back, it holds it open so that the vacuum of the engine doesn't suck this shut, or like in my case, it's going nuts like this, and it's just running sometimes off choke, most of the time on choke, and it's terrible. What's happening, this spring isn't breaking, but it's just a poor design where it's slipping off of its keeper, and then you have no choke anymore because that tension is gone. There's a couple different solutions you can do here. I'll start by giving the easiest one that I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do is come up here. I've just got a couple random springs out of my spring assortment, and I'm just gonna drill a hole. So what you want it to do is be pulled this way. That way is open, so that'd be forward. And I'm just gonna put a spring through that little hole there, and then you could either just run it through this slot here, you could put it around that bolt. I'm gonna come, I think, straight ahead and drill a small hole to put that spring through to keep this tensioned and almost add a secondary fail-safe for the stock spring on that carburetor. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'll show you that at the end. The other solution that I could see is if you take a very small drill bit, you could remove your choke linkage, so that would just be pulling the choke plate out with the pliers, sliding the shaft up and out, and then drill a very small hole to the right of where that spring hooks there on the casting, and actually insert that section of the spring down in that hole. That would capture it in the hole so that it can't move, where this one, it either slides out to the front and off, or it slides up and out. I'm not exactly sure how it's failing, because twice it's been fine here, and then I send it home with the customer and it comes back in its current condition. So that'd be the other option, but we're gonna go ahead with the spring option. So, like I said, I've got two options here on springs. This one, I could come ahead like up in this corner here and put a hole. I think that'd be pretty nice. This other one, I'd have to do quite a bit of modifying to make that work. So let's start with the small one. I'm gonna kind of measure it out so that it's under tension when this is forward. You don't wanna have it in its compressed state forward. We wanna actually pull it a little bit tight. And this is with the choke off. So we're in the notch for fast throttle, and I'll get that hooked in and kind of show you how it functions. So here's where I wound up putting the hole. I wanted it close enough to the edge so that I could wrap this spring around. If it was in the middle of this area here, there wouldn't have been a way to hook it with this style of spring. And you can see that when it's lined up with that hole, it's got a nice amount of tension on it, and that's it. Another note I wanted to add on this while we're at it is you've got to be picky. It's hard, but you've got to be picky with which cheap carburetors you're using. I use 95% cheap carburetors, and there are a few bad ones, and it's hard to know if you're going to get a good one or a bad one. What I can do is leave a link to the one in particular that I'm now using that has made a lot of difference on this mower here. In the clip that you just saw, I still had the old one on it, and I was attempting to show the choke difference there, but you could tell that even with the choke off, it was running kind of up and down, surging, not great. I swapped to this other carburetor, and right out of the box it was fine, where with the previous carburetor I was having all sorts of issues, not only with the choke spring, but with the adjustment. I had to adjust it out so far that the screw wasn't even tight anymore, and you just shouldn't have to do that. 9 times out of 10 it's fine out of the box. So I'll leave a link down below to that one. Hopefully by the time this video is out it's the same carburetor. You never know what you're gonna get, but at least at the moment this one is better. So thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and we'll see you on the next one.